AM 1600 KBN, 3.7 FM, the web, the app, rockoftalk.com. I'm Eddie Eric on the Rock of Talk with my good friends Tigo and Tracy Venturi. The Venturi Real Estate Group from Keller Williams Realty. This is Albuquerque Real Estate Talk to kick off a Saturday afternoon of listening right here in Nikiva. Why not pick up the phone? Dial direct. Look for a home. They'll find it for you first. 448-8888. That's 448-8888. Or as always, you can visit the number one website for realtors, real estate in New Mexico. And that, of course, is welcomehomeabq.com. Welcomehomeabq.com. Tigo, Tracy, good morning to you.
Good morning,
Good
Eddie.
morning.
You know, hey, Eddie, last week I was working at the house. I had a honey-do list. I don't know where that came from, but I had this big list.
It wasn't my list.
Actually, it was my list. But Tracy was out of town, so I had this big list of things I was working on, and I had Kiva on all day. It's like, what a great lineup. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that do that that are listening right now, and they just, turn it on Saturday morning. We appreciate you listening, and just listen all day because you've got a great lineup of local, people, local programming. So I appreciate you being, having that service for our community.
And you guys get off, and it's a great opportunity to, listen to what's coming up, the issues in real estate, the opportunities in real estate. And then Tracy talks about the homes of the week and just sends people like, hey, we can cruise around all day. No commercials, commercial free, and nothing but local, mostly business and a little bit of political.
A little bit of political, a lot of business on Saturdays. It's a great lineup. So good job. I mean, I know you've been tweaking it, changing it over the years, but it's a great lineup. It's
good. And Tracy, of course, we're going to have your homes of the week. And this is one of the reasons to listen to this show is because when they spring them on you and they tell you that there's this home of the week, right there at 10:31, you pick up the phone, you call, say, is that still available? Can I submit an offer? Because that's how lacking the inventory is. And you got to be first. You got to be qualified. You got to be smart. There's just ways that you can do it. And when you have that nice stamp with the offer coming from the Venturi team, they know that you guys are ready to perform on that purchase of your house. Now, we're going to give you in this particular edition the 7 reasons to sell right now. First, look at September sales numbers as we are here on the first Saturday in October. Creative ways to buy and sell real estate, as well as the grand open house weekend. I'm not sure what that is. And then, of course, Tracy's homes of the week. Tracy, Tigo, take it away.
Thanks,
Thank
Eddie.
you.
Appreciate it.
Can you believe it's October?
I know.
It's funny. I was having this conversation with the dog groomer this week via text. And I was saying, I can't believe it's going to be October next week when we are taking the dogs to the groomer. And she said, hasn't this year just flown by? And I thought, wow, no, there's something I hadn't thought about, right? When we were...
I think that's, when you think about it, it's kind of true because it feels like, when everything just went... Sideways in March. That was a good way to put it. Sideways. I like that. Sideways. It did go sideways. And, we just, as human beings, we get used to our routine, just the way we do things, the way everything, and everybody got turned upside down in March. So I think that did affect kind of the way we perceive time too, maybe.
Yeah.
This is getting really deep here.
Anyway, it's October. So the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors, open house weekend all over the city, all over the metro, all over the state, open houses. So we are going to spend some time there. AlbuquerqueOpenHouses.com.
Yep.
That's it.
If you want to see all over the state.
All of them.
Sorry, I got away from my microphone.
So lots of open houses. We have put several homes for our sellers on the market just in time for the open houses. So we have a lot of houses that will be open from our team as well as other realtors. So lots of opportunity. It's exciting. It's kind of like our own little parade of homes,
Well, it is, and it's interesting because this year the inventory is so low. When I speak inventory, obviously we're talking about homes for sale. The number of homes for sale is so low this year that it's going to be interesting to see how many are actually open.
Still open and not sold.
Open. Yeah, and not sold because it's just everything's moving so fast right now.
Yeah, and usually it's this time of year because we're going into fall, beginning of October, and they are saying, let's give it a boost for all those homes that haven't sold that are on the market. Well, that's very different this year.
The reality is, in years past, this was always the week we had parade of homes
Fiesta.
right before or after Balloon Fiesta? I'm trying to remember now.
It's like the last weekend they overlapped.
So the Parade of Homes is the Home Builders Association big event.
And that's coming up,
and that's coming up, too. And that's going to be a virtual event this year. I haven't quite dug into how exactly that's going to work. But there's, a lot of home builders that we know that have homes in that event. And then this is the Realtor Association. These are mostly resale homes, this big open house weekend. Get out and see a lot of homes.
Right. So exciting. We have quite a few homes that have come on the market, so we'll get to that.
If you're watching us, if you're on one of if you're not just listening, we have the screen behind us. We have a home that just came in the market, and I've got it on the screen behind us in Taylor Ranch. We can talk about that later. But Tracy, what I really wanted to pick your brain on today is, I'm a stat junkie. I'm a real estate news, national news junkie. I follow all that stuff and going on, and you were at a big national kind of training event, mastermind event with different people from around the country yesterday or earlier in the week, relating to why everybody should be thinking about selling their home, and there was the 7 reasons to sell now, right?
Right. So Tigo is sort of interesting because some of the people that were on that call are very established, powerful realtors around the country, and they
just
were
like you.
They were saying, my personal home, I've never considered selling it, but I'm thinking of selling because the market's so good, the house has never been worth more, and they were saying, well, we've thought about different changes in household and what we need, and now might be the time. I don't know if you've thought about that with our house.
I have. However, we've just spent a whole bunch of time fixing up and remodeling it, so I kind of want to enjoy all the work we've done recently.
That's so funny, Tigo, because that's what a lot of our sellers do, right? Before they put the home on the market. So we just upgraded our kitchen, right? We refinished it. You sanded most of the cabinets and refinished.
Oh, boy.
We put in new countertops, a new range. Just upgraded the kitchen.
Well, I think, the reality is, getting too personal here, but, we've been in our house 19 years, right? It was time.
We designed the house and had it built, and it's already been 19 years.
19 years, but it was time to do some
Crazy.
refresh. But so Tracy, just first run through the list of 7, and then let's go into them in detail.
Okay, so 1, great time to be a seller and should have your home on the market or your rental property. Sidebar, I know you want me to get to the 7, but think of all the people who are property managers that aren't enjoying it. Bought a few rental properties, maybe just one.
Owners, not property managers.
Yeah, the owners.
Yeah.
And, now might be the time to sell it, and you could always change up your properties. I know we have some.
Okay, I'm going to sidebar your sidebar. I'm going to say that if you own a multi-unit property, and I can give you the data to back this up, this may be the best time ever to sell a multi-unit property. The cap rates that people are getting for multi-unit residential properties are, from a seller standpoint, the best we've ever seen, meaning they're very low. Very low cap rate is what things are selling at. So I digress.
So think about it, Tigo. We personally have about 10 rental properties, 9 or 10.
All single family, though.
All single family,
multi-unit.
No multifamily. But one of the conversations I had with you last week was we should probably sell some of our older properties and buy some newer ones at some point, because the older properties are going to need lots more maintenance coming up and things. And if we go and we buy newer or new, we have another 15 years before we're going to have a bunch of big expenses. So also something to think about. So 7 reasons to be a seller now.
Go through them.
Inventory shortage. Of course, we all know that. We've been talking about that. The news talks about it.
We'll get to the data on that in a second. Okay?
Really? You have data? Stats?
I know. It's hard to believe.
My Statomatic? There's upward pressure on price like we've never seen.
Got data to back that up.
Number 3, it's less competition as sellers leave the market. So we know that because there's less homes, there's more demand for your home. Buyers in the market are more serious. We know that for sure. We have a lot of buyers waiting for the right home to come on the market. Number 5, there's a spike in buyer activity.
Yep.
I bet you're going to say I have a stat for that.
Of course I do.
And number 6, there's record low interest rates.
I've got a stat for every single one of these.
I know,
to
which
back
we've
it up.
talked about.
Yeah.
And number 7, the window is open right now, and we don't know when that might change, but we know it will.
Don't have a stat for that
Because
I
the
can't
market
Yeah.
always changes.
I'm not supposed to talk over you. This sounds like the other night. No talking over each other. Sorry, I had to go there. Oh my
How
gosh.
funny. So anyway,
Yeah.
we don't know when the window will change, but we know it will. If you look historically, the real estate market has ebbs and
There's
flows.
always ebbs and flows in the
So,
market. And yes, we know it
timing
will
the
change.
market.
Do we know when it's going to change, how it's going to change, what it's going to look like in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? Couldn't tell
We
you.
don't.
I've got a
But-
pretty good idea, but anything can happen, right? We had our quote Black Swan event this year for sure. And who knows what'll happen next year.
Yeah. Oh,
The
it'll
year
be
after
like
that.
so uneventful next year. I'm sure of it.
The reality is, though, let me just say this. The reality is when we talk about the future, the demographics just bode very well for the need for more homes,
Right.
more people wanting to buy homes. There's just that huge cohort of the millennial kind of generation, in that late 20s, early 30s that don't own home yet. A lot of them are still living at home, maybe with their parents or back
They're
home with their
renting,
parents, or
they're
they're
renting with roommates.
Right.
We know a lot of people like that.
But
I think
there
that's
is-
more common.
But there's going to be yes, that's true. There's going to be a lot of what's called household formation over the next 4 or 5 years. And so that one piece just shows that there's going to be demand here for the next few years.
Right. And Tigo, the statistics say that over the last 10, 15 years, the home builders weren't building as many houses as we need.
The last decade.
The last decade. So catching up with new construction to take care of the demand is going to take time.
And that lost decade term, that's just something that's used in real estate circles, talking about how much underbuilding there was for the last 10 years, right? Okay, so let's talk about this inventory shortage, Tracy, number one. Go ahead.
So thinking of the new home builders on that same topic. So what we know is they've opened some new neighborhoods around the metro area, and the buyer demand is very strong. They're selling a ton of new construction homes that aren't even built yet. People are picking their lot, picking their floor plan, their tile, their carpet with the new home builder and having a home built, and they're waiting 6 to 12 months for that house to be ready. So one of the things that we've done, and it's worked really well for a few of our sellers, Tigo, is we have the guaranteed sale program that we offer.
Yep.
And so we can guarantee to buy your home if it doesn't sell when your other house is ready, right? That works also for people who are saying, hey, I want to sell, but I don't have the house that I want to buy on the market yet.
You're weaving in the other topic that was on our list, which was alternate ways to buy and sell real estate.
I didn't even see our list.
Yeah,
but it works, right?
It does,
because with our guaranteed sale, we can guarantee that we'll sell it at the right price so that you can confidently move forward to buying your new home, or we will buy it. And we guarantee that up front. The other thing that we've done successfully a few times this year already is we have purchased the home for somebody and let them lease it back from us while their new home is being built.
Well, and that we've done it personally, but we know investors out there that would be happy to do that deal as well. So there's that opportunity as well. And in this current market as well, Tracy, think about how much competition there is for certain homes in certain areas and how many buyers would do anything to get a home.
Right.
How many buyers do you think would be willing to secure the home, get it under contract, close it today, let the seller stay in there for a certain amount of time afterwards, just so that they know they've got that home come next summer, let's say?
So that was going to be my next point. So we just did that.
Yeah.
So Andrew had a seller. They were buying a new Pulte home in Mariposa, and they wanted to make sure it was timed for when their home was done, and they didn't want to miss the selling season that's going on right now. So we went ahead and put it on the market. We made it really clear in all the information that went out to the public that the seller would only consider offers if they could lease it back for 3 months or close it, know that it was done, and lease it back, or have a delayed closing with some strong guarantees that the buyer wouldn't walk in the meantime.
Yeah.
And we had more than one offer on that house. And that one just all came to fruition in September. So there's lots of ways. So
number one was inventory shortage. I think we pretty much all know that if you've listened to the show at all. I think we've gone down that road. I will just say this month, ending September, we were at 0.4 months supply of inventory for homes priced or closed under $245,000. $245,000 is our median price, our current median price in the Albuquerque area. So what that means is that
I'm just doing the math in my head. 0.4 of 30 roughly days is 12 days on
12
market
days. Well,
average.
Yeah, it's not even days on market. It's
12.
really what that means is there's 12 days worth of inventory
in that price under
Exactly.
245.
Yep. So what that means, if no homes come on the market under $245,000 in 12 days, everything will be gone.
There won't be any for sale.
That's what that means. And
Right.
it's kind of even a hard, it's so, that number is so low, you can't even wrap your brain around it, really.
Right.
You know, and to give you an idea, the median days on market ending for September was 5 days for all price ranges, 4 days for homes under the 245.
Yeah. Those
Okay.
are amazing numbers. So number two,
pricing, and I've got some data for that. So
upward pressure on price.
Absolutely. So Tracy, just tell some stories about what we've seen, offers over list price. You know, and people say, well, okay, if you knew you're going to get offers over list price, why did you list it so low? Talk to that a little bit.
So sure. So when we're talking with sellers, we're looking back historically and we're saying, here in the last 3 months, here's homes similar to yours and what they have sold for, what we could justify, what an appraiser can justify. And then we price the home at maybe the high end of that range. Yeah. And then we get offers sometimes, for not every house, but offers that are above the asking price, or they're offering other incentives that make the seller appreciate their offer more than another if they were equal price-wise.
Is it fair to say there's kind of a razor's edge? Because if you get over too high, you're going to hurt the actual final sale price versus getting too low, obviously.
You mean on the list price?
On the list price.
On the list price. On the list price, we want to list it at what the market suggests that the house should sell for. Now, a buyer might really want the house and say, I've been looking too long. I missed out on 3 houses. I want to get this house. Mm-hmm. And so they might sweeten the deal, basically, right? And what we know is we haven't been having a lot of appraisal issues, but it could happen. You know, if somebody wants to offer $20,000 over on a $200,000 house, it probably won't appraise. So,
and when you say won't appraise, that means that the appraiser cannot find any comparable sales
to
that
justify
that price.
Justify that
and that's
sale
what they
price
have to find
for the loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the buyer can still buy it at whatever they offer, but they're going to need to bring more money to buy the house because the lender is still only going to lend on what the appraiser believes the house is worth.
So number 3 was less competition. Okay, and if you're just joining us, we're going through the 7 reasons you should have your home on the market right now if you've been thinking about selling. One of them, and again, number 1 was inventory shortage. Number 2 was upward pressure on price. And just to give you an example on price real quick, Tracy, just so
give us a stat, Tico.
Yeah, of course I got a stat. Over the last year, so 12-month rolling, and I'm looking at price per square foot because that's a really good gauge of actual appreciation, not just median and average. And so the change in price per square foot for homes under $245,000, again, the median was 8.8%, almost 9% gain in that in prices. Let me just tell you this, over the median, it's 3.4. So there's a very big difference. So those lower price homes under the median price have a lot more movement in price appreciation.
And we just started working with a home seller who bought just less than a year ago. And normally we would say this is going to be tough because your house price really hasn't changed much. And with closing costs, you know, it's going to be difficult to sell your house.
What did you find?
And no worries, the house was plenty higher. Plus, the gentleman had done some really nice upgrades.
He added value
kitchen
too.
And flooring and counters and backsplash and bathrooms. So this is a property that's out in Edgewood that'll be coming on the market. But yeah, he's actually going to do really well. Normally, when somebody hasn't been in the house for 2 or 3 years, it's hard for them to recoup what they've got into it.
Edgewood, speaking of which, Edgewood, East Mountain's supply of homes for sale out there is really low. I mean, there's not a lot to choose from. Okay, number 3 is less competition as sellers leave the market.
So we're into October now, and it's not the time that people typically think, hey, I'm going to sell my house. Now it's a whole new world, right?
Yeah.
We don't have kids in school at the same time as, usually people are selling during school holidays, or they're moving, wanting to move. Now it's all different, but less competition.
And we saw a big drop off in the number of homes coming on the market after March and April too, and they just never came on the market. A lot of people just decided to stay put that may have been thinking of selling this year. Number 4, Tracy, was buyers in the market are more serious. Now that we know for sure.
Well, we do. They're definitely talking with the lender before they're out looking at houses. They're putting their ducks in a row so that they can write a strong competitive offer very quickly.
Yeah.
Because we know if they think about the house overnight, chances are by the time they get their offer in, there'll be some others.
Okay, let me ask you this. A couple tips. If you're a home buyer, what are a couple things to make it look how do you
position
yourself and actually give evidence to a seller that you are a strong buyer? Because that's important.
No, it is. So we do a nice buyer consult, right? And we want to talk to people about this that are in the market so that they can get the house that they want. And a lot of it has to do with having a good, strong local lender, a great realtor who knows how to negotiate, write the offer. There's a lot of things we can do. So we can, too many.
Yeah.
Lots of ways to put together an offer that can't be refused.
Sure. So the next one, Tracy, spike in buyer activity. I can speak to this from, so that's one of the things I've been tracking a lot lately, which is buyer demand.
So you track lockbox openings.
Which has, we kind of call
around the whole city.
Foot traffic is what we call it, meaning the number of showings, the number of people going in and looking at houses. And that has stayed strong, even though inventory is about 40% less than last year.
Interesting. And during the time of COVID, right, which we still are.
Yep.
We're still seeing buyers out walking through doors looking at houses, or the realtors going for them doing a FaceTime of the house. And we've sold quite a few houses the last few months that way.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody's, doing the right things and all that too. But the other thing is mortgage applications. That's the other thing we watch is how many people are buying or applying for mortgages for purchase, not for refinances, but for purchases. And that number is like 22% above last year, same time. Now, it's so funny because, I love some of the real estate news headlines. The headline I saw was, buyer purchase applications down 8% from last week. They forgot to mention that they're up 22% from last year, which is really the real comparison.
Right.
The thing is, last week, that number was huge. It was like at an all-time high. So 8% down. The point is there's still a lot of buyers out there applying for mortgages.
A lot of them waiting for that house.
Right. And that ties right into number 6, Tracy, which is
record low interest rates.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of home buyers buying with a loan rate less than 3.
And that, again, that affects...
Who would have thunk?
I know. And then just this week it hit 2.88 again, average on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. I saw 2.25 on a 15-year. Yeah, I mean, if it were at 5%, which would be very normal or low, considering 50 years of interest rates, to what,
right?
But yeah, right.
You could almost say that your interest rate would be the same as if it were a 30-year at 5%, your monthly payment. But anyway, I didn't do the math. I'm just saying at 2 point whatever, it's like we should all be getting loans.
Yeah, no, for sure. If you haven't refinanced, if you're 4, even maybe a high 3, you should be looking at refinance. Anything over 4 or maybe high 3, you should be looking at refinance.
And we know lots of great local lenders, but we usually suggest they refi with the company that holds their current mortgage?
Well, a lot of times they can do a streamlined refi where, maybe they waive the appraisal, they waive some other stuff. So always start with your current loan servicer,
right,
and then go from there. I have mortgages, we have mortgages on different properties. I get letters in the mail from those guys all the time saying refinance. So yeah, I mean, they want that business, and they'll fight for it to keep you as a good client.
So number 7, why you should sell now in October, November, December, when you might not be thinking about it. The window is open now, and that will change. We just don't know when.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure.
It always does. So, Tigo, one of the things that came up this week was a home buyer was saying, what do I do? Why would I want to buy now or sell now and buy in this market when I know that the home prices are so high, and maybe if I wait, I can get a lower buy price? And it was an interesting conversation because we actually sat down and did some actual calculations and went, well, if you sell your house right now at the high of the market and you purchase right now, you're going to be locking in that low interest rate and saving money. Whereas if the home price were to go down $20,000 next year, which probably is an exaggeration amount, right?
Yeah.
And the interest rates are up, you're going to be ahead by buying now based on what your monthly payment would be.
So
the cost of money is
it's
so
it's
affordable.
An interesting thing, and I think what it comes down to is, what do you need? Where do you want to be right now? Where do you want to, what's important to you? Getting that house now or waiting? Right. And so it's this whole balance. It's the swimming pool conversation, right?
Right.
Do you want to enjoy it? You're not going to make any money on it, but if you're going to enjoy it for the next 5-10 years, do it. Yes, it's going to cost you some money.
Which is interesting because that's what I was just going to say. We must think alike. But I was going to say, if you want to be in a different property, do it now. Why not start living where you want to be?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So Tracy, we need to wrap up, but I wanted to. Do you have some homes? We've got so many homes.
Gee whiz.
Yeah,
so many.
So
open house, AlbuquerqueOpenHouses.com.
Yep.
You'll find all the houses that are open.
Right.
We have quite a few new active on the market homes that just came on the market this week. A few of them in those better price points.
Yep.
So Crescent Moon is $200,000. It's 2736 Crescent Moon, and just jump on our website, welcomehomeabq.com.
Featured right on the homepage. There's a button that says Featured Homes. Just click that. You'll see all, and they're sorted by the most recent ones that come on the market. But this one, Northwest, $250,000.
Great neighborhood.
Just like I was saying, these homes under $250,000 are going super fast. So
this one's right by Cottonwood Mall. Just up the hill from Cottonwood, $250,000. It's a single story, almost 1,800 square feet.
Or the easiest way is they just call us, right, Tracy? And
give us a ring.
Number?
448-8888. We're Venturi Realty Group of Keller Williams Realty, and we're always so honored to be here on Saturday morning chatting about real estate.
Yep, Eddie, appreciate it. Appreciate this platform for 7+ years.
Your platform, you own the real estate radio space. I will say one thing. Did you say that you have a property on Ridge Runner? Is that
correct? Yeah, you know that neighborhood.
You know that hood, don't you?
Yeah, that's a great neighborhood. I love that place.
Yeah.
And if you actually are looking at a geographic center of town,
it's
right there at Cottonwood, basically Coors and 528. So, and that's pretty much in the center of everything. So
yeah, it is.
There's a better place to live in the Albuquerque metro area. Metro wide. So thank you both. 448-8888.
Thanks, Eddie.
448-8888. Or welcomehomeabq.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com. Folks, they are the best for a reason.